Understanding the concept of scarcity mindset, practical tips and exercises to shift purposes. Okay. This is a big and deep running emotional topic. I think everyone essentially suffers from it. When you have too much, you suffer from it. When you have too little, you suffer from it. There is just a outward attachment. You think you're looking around what others are doing. We're so conditioned to think of ourselves, well, we need to be somewhere, we need to be making a certain type of money, we need to have a certain type of job or title and so forth at a certain age, and only then can we be content with ourselves or feel like we're living a good life. And as I mentioned with my example, just growing up, there's these mindsets are inherited, they're baked into our being. Most of our life is spent healing the wounds of our lineage, the unlived life of the parent. And that may feel unfair, but that's how it is. They imprint everything that they didn't resolve for themselves. They imprint on us, starting from when we're in the tummy. I mean, all that energy comes through. We have no filters. We're just absorbing it all. And then we wonder why we do certain things or repeat certain patterns. Well, it's about becoming aware. And then from that place, you can create change. But if you're blindly repeating all the stuff we've been imprinted by, family, but then also society and generational media, we're constantly being bombarded by a world that's looking to elicit a reaction from us. I like that, I don't like that, it's for me, that's not for me, it's good, this is bad. And so this keeps us in this reactive state, in this mental state, and we're just lost in there. We're being jerked around by environment. How we feel is at the mercy of the things around us. And that's not a good place to be in. That's not a free place from which you can actually live your life, and for the most part, because you can't hear what your truth is. You're trying to use, again, this inferior tool. It has its purposes, but the mind is not good for, you've heard of analysis paralysis or choice overload. It just, all it knows to do is compare. So that's what drives us crazy. It's too many choices. There's lots and lots of studies on if you present employees, for example, with too many stock options, and like free, or where the company puts in half, the drop off is tremendous once it goes past 5 or something. That's a big piece to look at in your own lives. Is, are you subjecting yourself to just like too much input, and then we freeze, we become paralyzed. So yes, yeah.
I think I get overwhelmed.
We get overwhelmed. Most of the stuff that we never do is because we sit there and we think so much about it that we talk ourselves out of it. We think so far down the line that it just becomes overwhelming. And that's actually a strategy I think it might be in today's deck, how to take an idea that feels overwhelming and scale it back. Because you have control over that. You have the say. Something feels overwhelming, when you're just thinking about it, well, think about it in a way where it doesn't feel overwhelming. Bring it down, scale it back. I did this with my mom who had triple bypass surgery. She was afraid. She lives in Europe, didn't want to come visit me in California. It's too long. The trip was too scary. It's just all the moving parts to it. And she just froze and wouldn't travel anymore. And so we just went through an exercise of like, well, what feels easy? And then she started scaling it down, 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 down. And like, take this to a place where it isn't just easy. Make it fun. Make it joyful. Like folding your clothes, all the memories associated with each piece and the fabric, and just feel all of that, and just enjoy the process of folding those nicely and neatly and putting them into a suitcase. And just keep it at that level. And then from the suitcase, you just have somebody bring it, my brother come and have him take it downstairs and create a feeling of being taken care of. And then just continue that on. When you're sitting in the car, on the way to the airport, you're sitting in the car, look at the landscape and all that. Keep it simple. And she did that, and she was able to get on the plane and fly, no problem. Just staying more present, more present. If you can be ultra present, micro present, then all your problems go away, remarkably. There's no room in the presence. And how do you become present? You focus on the detail. The world is constantly reaching out to us through our senses, wanting to pull us into presence. We're fighting presence. We're actually doing so much work to stay out of presence. It's so hard. That's what's so hard about being not present, is that the effort it takes. Because our natural state, just like the tree or the squirrel, is to be just ultra present and alert and just focusing on what's in front of us. Presence is a question of attention. What are you giving your attention to? Everything is presence. I could be present with my thoughts about yesterday. I could be present with my thoughts about tomorrow. Yesterday, that's guilt and regret and those types of emotions attached to that. And tomorrow is expectations and projections, and that's no fun either. That's not real. So give your attention to what's real, and that's what's in front of us. It's the only thing that you can take clear action on. Everything else you bring into the picture when you make a decision muddles the picture. It creates a distortion. You're bringing in fears, you're bringing in control, need for control, and you're bringing in all kinds of stuff that just, the decision you wind up making on the situation in front of you is then influenced by the stuff. It's colored by the stuff in the way that isn't beneficial. These yucky things, emotions come in, and then the decision you make will produce fruits that are also yucky. They have that seed of the fear in them. They have that seed of the control and or perfectionism. This goes in all directions. So life is so easy when you look at how it's designed and how it's meant to be, and we just so overcomplicate it. And it's just an acceleration of the last 100 years or so, where we're no more naturally using in our bodies, working, physically working, that keeps you out of your head. We're no longer in nature. We're in concrete jungles now. That normally would pull you out of your head. Just going into nature is healing. And we're in the era now where the brain is still in that state of looking for dangers. It's trying to protect you. But because there isn't a tiger or a snake around the corner anymore, it goes to the next thing and just literally creates a problem. It hasn't evolved fast enough to catch up with the times. So this brain is still looking to protect you and looking to avert danger. And because there's these big dangers no longer exist, it's going down to where like it creates a little, the smallest thing, it can turn into the biggest problem. And that's also what office life is about. All right, so this journaling exercise, do we all have journal, pen and paper? We have some extra in the back. And the most important part is as you journal, as you write, as you type, notice how it feels. This is the most important piece here.
Sorry, is it like triggers we're at a couple of receiving in terms of
Well,
cognition,
in some areas you might have like no issues receiving. It might be at your birthday, you're happy to receive all the gifts and everything, no problem there, right? But then when it comes to asking for promotion at work, suddenly there's a block or something. So that would be an example. So yeah, 3 areas where you have no trouble receiving, and 3 areas where you have trouble receiving. And again, notice the difference between the 2 feelings. Okay. All right. Who wants to go first? Share something where you have no trouble receiving, where it's just, woo, give it to me.
For me, it's when I kind of treat myself to a lifestyle that I want to be living in. Travels, morning beverages.
So you've no issue treating yourself to, so self-care is an easy thing. For a lot of people, that's the biggest challenge. So was it always this way? Yeah? You were buying lattes for yourself when you were 3? Nice, fantastic. And is this part of your routine? Are you aware that this is a routine, or you just kind
Yeah,
of?
it just makes me so happy.
Okay, nice, very good, awesome. Yeah. Anyone else? What comes easy for you? Easy.
I find it kind of hard actually to think about it, but I came on experiences. I think just being in a place, like being awed by it.
Okay, so maybe nature or going to some kind of, yeah. Okay, no, that's a good one. That's a good one. Anyone been to the Grand Canyon? Ever? That'll have that effect on you. Oh my God, just sobbing. Yeah, very cool. Okay, how about you?
I have no trouble receiving from my family, for example.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
presents, money, whatever.
Yeah, anything. You're willing to take anything. Many people have struggled with that as well. We have a good group here. We're able to receive quite nicely. But those are often issues, and it's not the receiving itself, it's the story behind it, right? If you have a challenging home life, that giving and receiving in that environment becomes problematic because it could be used to manipulate people, or you don't want to condone certain behavior by accepting more. I mean, there's all kinds of complications there. Nice. How about you?
I was going to say the same, but the other one would be salary raise from my employer.
I'm sorry?
Like a salary raise from my employer.
Oh, yes. No problem asking for a raise. Nice. Nice. Have you done it and it's worked?
Yeah, I have asked for a raise.
Nice. Fantastic. It is one of the less talked about byproducts of mindfulness and meditation and becoming more aware and awake of your own power, is that you then realize that it's time to ask for a raise. And so that can happen very nicely. So that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations. Wow. Okay, let's see if anybody has, everyone just loves receiving. We'll have to flip the topic here around and talk about giving.
I noticed a change.
Yeah.
Like what I was receiving, like, compliments, like beautiful houses, being in great spaces. It wasn't always like that.
And when did the change happen, or why, or how?
I don't even know. Like just a lot of self-work and change, and the things that used to be hard. Then it's like, oh, that's actually easy now.
Yeah. But do you still notice it?
No.
No? So it's just smooth now?
Yeah, it feels smooth. But then when I was writing it down, I was like, oh, it never used to be.
Yeah.
Or like receiving money, I'm like, oh, it feels easy and beautiful, and it didn't used to.
Yeah. That's great. It was definitely receiving was both my parents were just, like I described before, but they were also altruists and they just couldn't receive. My dad was a doctor and he would tell his patients to call him so he could give a prescription over the phone so he wouldn't have to charge them. So that to receive, to this day, I have a structured response to receiving is thank you. I'm making a note that even if it's just silent in my head, that I'm receiving this with gratitude. And even if it's just a compliment, but to take that moment and accept that for myself before I then say, well, it's just a reflection of you, so whatever you recognize in me is what you're seeing in yourself, which is true, but I need to make that point that I acknowledge for myself. So yeah, that's great that it's just flowing now for you. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, good. And another thing you mentioned is like these things, self-work, self-development, spirituality, the results, we tend to look for these big awakenings and these big aha moments, but ultimately most of the time, vast majority of the time, it's just these little changes that you don't even notice until there's a situation and you somehow catch yourself or somebody makes a comment and you just realize that, oh yeah, I don't react the way I used to. I don't behave the way there's been a change. It's just very subtle. That's a good thing, because if we could just flip on a dime, that's not very stable as a species and as a person. So our change has to be gradual. People talk about, why is it so hard, change, and why does it take so long? Well, you want a stable being, right? And from there, incremental change. This is getting bigger and bigger now, the 1% change and all that lasts, that's permanent. And that's how you ultimately get to where you want to go. It's like the golf ball. If you're just like half a degree is off, it winds up over distance, you wind up creating a lot of change. And the mind doesn't like that, but it is work. And I feel that it's becoming more and more kind of like people respect that. So that incremental change will get you where you want to go faster and sooner and in a more orderly fashion. There's just too much chaos if we were able to just make too big changes all the time. Yeah. How about you?
Similar. I have your name, but similar. Experiences, beautiful places. I guess offerings too. Not on financial capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Financial, there's like a, freezing. But if it's like a spa treatment or a beautiful dinner or like suddenly there's this table and there's an ocean. I mean, I had a switch as well.
Yeah.
Where that happened. And then also I think support in work as well, or like collaboration. That's a big one for me.
It's a new one?
Yeah.
How was it before?
Horrible.
Horrible?
Yeah.
Get out of the way, I'm doing this, or what was
It was people, I definitely had something inside me that was attracting, rather than having kind of collaborators who are trying to collaborate, build up, they're sort of trying to take and build it down. There was no support. And now I have collaborators who kind of bounce off ideas, who really care, are invested, and things are birthed much faster. Instead of, me being dragged down or attacked or hurt.
Yeah. And is there something about you that's different that has invited these new type of collaborators in that you can point to?
Yeah, there was a moment where I was really sad. It had been months of this. And I just suddenly, there's two sort of realizations. One was, someone that you're working with or you're employing, but just working in period, they're supposed to help, not hurt. And that was just a mindset shift. It was very simple and clear, but it didn't happen for me immediately. I would try and help my staff and like fix everything. And they were destroying the organization.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it was like, why wouldn't we deserve the best people or the best help or the most collaborative, exciting people?
Yeah, that's
And
big.
that's it. And then it just everything moves.
Yeah. Yes.
That's simple.
It really is. It never ceases to amaze me how a mindset shift then suddenly shows up in the external. It's remarkable. You could do. I do private sessions. I'll talk about that later as well. And just from one session, people will message me an hour later. Oh my gosh, people are treating me differently. I'm being respected, and like guys are all over me, or whatever it is that we were working on. And it's just a shift in the energy field, and
It's just like one thought somewhere.
yeah. So
Even when it comes to healing relationships, like instead of trying to get the forgiveness from the other person, it's forgiving first ourselves and then watching that kind of shift naturally.
yes.
Realm as well.
Yeah, that's a big one. Our judging of others. I always say the biggest source of frustration when it comes to people and relationships is our need to want the other person to be somebody they're not. And if we can just see them and hold space for who they are without judging them, that gives them the space to actually change. And very often they become the person that we wanted them to be. But typically we're just always wanting everything to be in our likeness. So we're kind of controlling and steering. We're looking for validation, which is that mental validation we were talking about earlier, that you're trying to just reinforce your own truth structure constantly. And everything that you see and everything that you read and everything you consume, you're just looking for validation. And that gets us deep into a hole. So yeah, if you can, that changed my relationship with my family. It was good, but it wasn't great. But once I stopped wanting them to be different, and it's like I recognized that my resistance to who they are was keeping them the way they are. And if I took away at least my part, you can't expect people to change, but you're certainly bringing a change into the dynamic, into the energy field. It's just, this is how energy works. And this is one of the big shifts, one of the paradoxes of life, is that what you resist persists. We've heard that, it's a common phrase, but really think about what that means in an energetic world. We're energetic beings. If you resist something, you keep it in place. If you're coming from lack, you generate more lack. And especially when it comes to abundance, it's really tricky to hold space for how you want to feel without slipping into, I don't have it yet, it's not there, I don't see it. When is it going to happen? I need to jump in there and start doing again. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, relationships is huge. Cool. Who didn't?
Well, I find it very easy to receive love from friends.
Love from friends.
Yes.
Nice.
It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Yeah, I think I'm more comfortable talking about what I'm not able to receive now. Because this is what I need to work on.
Yeah.
Because there's what I receive, you know how I receive it.
Yeah. But what we're looking for is the contrast between how you feel, right? Because it all comes down to your sensations. And then we live in a dualistic system. So you have to be fully aware and conscious of what it feels like to receive in order to, and that's the third piece here. We'll get to that in just a second. So that you apply that to the area, because you need a foundation from which you can come and kind of dissolve the resistance to receiving, to overwrite in a way, if you want, the limiting beliefs. And it should never be done with force. There's always, again, we're talking energy here, right? If you can dissolve or melt away the limiting beliefs, and this is how energetically how it works. It's energy that's stuck inside of you from some experience early on or even later on. And our resistance, subconscious resistance to feeling it, is keeping it there. We don't really know that we're actually in resistance to receiving. This is a low simmering, I'm not comfortable with that. And so it's all about shining the light of awareness onto that. And the light of awareness is healing. It dissolves the stuckness. And so what's the best place to pull that from? Well, pull from, there's lots of therapeutic techniques that in your child healing and others, where you go back to, well, remember when you were, in joy, you were feeling in alignment, and then pull from that energy and bring that into the present in order to dissolve maybe some stuckness now. So that's what this thing is about. But we still have...
I had some trouble to recite love from my family.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's still working on me.
Finally, one person.
Really, this exercise, for example, I didn't have never trouble to recite love from my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And because some other travels and stuff, I said, but why is this happening? You have just to put how you feel, put at receiving, and put it where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that is your the light of your awareness washing away the darkness, if you will, the stuckness. It's so much light is so much more powerful. It just washes away any dark crevices. So we're doing energetic work here with this, even though it's journaling, writing something, taking stuff out of the thought realm where it's kind of vague and what is that really, moving it into what's tangible, which is the sensations realm. And that's where most meditations are based on sensations, because that's real, that's something you can focus on. So if you can feel in your body what it feels like to receive really well, then you have a baseline from which you can now visit the areas, the darker areas where you're having some resistance, some stuckness, and bring that light into that realm. All right, great. Before we do that, let's share some areas where we have issues receiving. Okay, he who laughs goes first.
Well, I also have trouble receiving money from friends when I do things for them. This is, that's, I just, I feel uncomfortable asking from a close friend for a payment or money.
And this has been going on, so it's an issue for you, right? Yeah, it's not like one time yesterday, but like you want to say something.
Yeah, and it's like it's like an expectation. It's like they're expecting something as well. You get what I mean? But at the same time, I try to like not to give them that expectation because I know that I need to also receive something for that.
An exchange of energy, because that can easily slide into feeling taken advantage of. That can become a whole thing right there. Any idea where that started? Is that a thing?
I'm pretty sure it started somewhere in my childhood, but I don't know. I can't pinpoint it right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Pretty much everything starts in our childhood. The great thing about energy work, which is what we're doing here, this is energy work, is that it doesn't matter who caused it, when it happened. You don't have to remember that moment. There's too much that happens. Yes, there's certain big traumas that if you do remember that, you can go back and work on them, like inner child healing. But for the most part, what I love about energy work is just the reality of how you feel right now. That's all that matters. If there's something there, if there's stuck feelings, you deal with them. And who caused it, where it came from, does not matter. And it's just a waste of time in many. You get into blame and reliving scenarios, and those aren't good many times.
I think another thing is it takes like knowing your own boundaries, where you want to receive money, where you don't, so that they can know, because maybe you don't know yet.
No, that's good. Boundaries, knowing yourself. The more firmly you know yourself, the more unapologetic you become, the more uncompromising you become. Like, this is my truth. And the more in touch you are with that, the more you will defend that truth vehemently, with vigilance, because you just won't compromise anymore. And then if there might be fear of what will they think of me, or will I lose a friend, or there's all kinds of stuff behind that. But you no longer care. Then you want clean energy, you want clean relationships, clean boundaries, and you speak your truth, and whatever flows from that flows from that. You're not afraid of that. You want that truth to spread. Anyone else have any suggestions for that type of situation?
Have a similar thing that I have trouble receiving that is not the same, but I just noted here that I have trouble receiving something for free. Because sometimes I think that I should give something in exchange. But sometimes it's not true, it's just the goodwilling of the other people. But my mind starts thinking what I have to do. To give something in exchange or not. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah.
That troubles me sometimes.
Yeah. It's like the inverse of that. It's like, maybe feelings of like, now do I owe them, or do they want something? Is there an ulterior motive?
That happens. Sometimes someone does that for you to owe you. For me to owe them, and later, after 2 months, I go and leave, You know the person, but sometimes it happens to be the both ways.
Yeah, I get that,
It's not good to have something to owe somebody that. And sometimes it's just a good look.
Yeah, and just having that clarity of being able to read the energy of that moment, being in tune with what you stand for, and then you have a better read on, should I receive something from this person? Or do I need to say something? I'm going to receive from you, but I don't owe you anything. Say that with a smile. And just to be clear, right? And you can do that. You can absolutely do that. So, nice. Yes?
I have a thought about this. One of the things that helped me move out of that, or I mean, sometimes move out of it, is this idea of like guilt versus appreciation. So kind of recognizing, like whenever someone would do something nice for me, I feel really guilty. And then suddenly I have this realization that I don't have to feel guilty, I can just be appreciative.
You just accept.
And it's just like, wow, that was really nice, it's lovely, like giving. And for whatever reason that's helped me move into something else.
Yeah.
But it's like the duality, I think.
No, that is not good.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, you just accept.
Yeah, well, it's just like you control your reaction. You can take negatively or positively.
Yeah.
Positive is appreciation, and then negative is guilt.
And a good guidance meter for that is, I'm a big fan of Joseph Campbell, if anyone knows him, the hero's journey, is to follow your bliss. It's like, how can you, which emotion do you want to follow? Which thought do you want to give your attention to that leads to a feeling, a sensation? Well, it's the better feeling thought. It's a classic Abraham Hicks, if anyone is into law of attraction, the reach for the better feeling thought. If you just consistently do that, you'll dramatically change your life. And it's the most simplest thing to remind yourself of constantly. And again, here we are. Life is wanting us to feel good. It's not asking us to jump through fiery hoops and go backwards and do headstands and you can do those if you want. But in order to feel good and have a good life, we're not expected to do crazy, we're not supposed to be rocket scientists. It's really life, the balance that we're seeking, the inner wisdom that we're seeking is found in the simplicity, in the presence, in the detail, in the enjoyment, in deciding between two things and going with the thing that's more blissful, that resonates. That's the guidance system. And it's something, when you start thinking about this, you really wonder why anyone on the planet runs around making decisions that make them unhappy, that are heavy, that feel burdensome. Yes.
But isn't pursuing sometimes the more difficult, like for example, the past 2 months, I just got to Bali today actually, but the past 2 months
Welcome.
I was middle of nowhere, Vietnam by myself, doing like really difficult inner world work, like 12 hours a day, no socializing, no distraction. I feel like I always put myself into the depth of that pain so that when I come back to togetherness, I can feel that just as deeply. So maybe you're talking more of like feel bad decisions, like, oh, I don't like my job or something like that. But I think sometimes feeling like the heaviness, like the depth of the pain that you can feel also directly translates to the depth of the pleasure.
We describe that as the difference, this is a common question, difference between a mind-made goal or idea or something you pursue and what your true calling. If you feel called to something, the way you can tell is a true calling, if you feel called to put yourself into situations like that, it's never pleasant. It's implied by the word. It's calling you to something, meaning you have work to do to get there. You have to work on yourself. You have to take classes. You have to, you're not ready. The fantastic, everything's going to be rosy, beautiful, success, fame, and fortune, that's a mind-made, fickle idea. And it usually flips. You just wait a day or take a shower or something, and now you're thinking of something else. And that's how you can tell. And those are not true, and your blueprint, your path calling you to do something. So physical pain isn't anything anyway. It's just, it hurts, but it doesn't really hurt. That's another workshop, separate workshop. But most of our pain is self-generated. I think, do we have a reactivity workshop next time?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. We'll we'll announce those at the end of this today, but we have an upcoming workshop on specifically reactivity, and just to give you a snapshot of that, 95% of your experience is your reaction to what has happened, not what has happened by itself. Your feelings, if you just let them come and go, they're little wavelets like this. But the story that you put on top, poor me, why me, it always happened to me, or I don't want this to happen, the resistance, it should be different, I prepared for this for a month, and now the whole situation is... All this stuff, that's the 95% of the experience, and that's why life feels like a roller coaster. But if you can come out of the reactivity and just see things as they are, and then acceptance, but not in the sense of rolling over and just letting things happen. Acceptance in the sense of, I'm going to just quickly accept it right now to establish a baseline from which I can then act. And what I'm acting on is the clear picture of what's in front of me, and not this other stuff that we bring in when we react. And to learn to come out of that by observing your sensations, it will change your life. It will absolutely, completely change your life. Changed mine. And that's what that workshop will be about. So I hope to see you all there. Okay. Anyone else? I'm so sorry I didn't. Did you sneak in at the end? Like, because we missed you. I missed you on the first question of sharing something that you really.
I had a call and now I'm trying to catch up.
Oh, okay. Okay. Quickly, something that you, and just so the exercise is complete, something you enjoy receiving. I have no problem.
New experiences.
No experiences.
For sure.
That's good.
Mostly
Well, that's huge, actually.
all new experiences. Not all.
Not all? Okay. What experiences would you not be open to? Just curious.
Well, right now I'm giving experience here, for example.
Okay.
It will be 2 months in the pool. I'm not Cali, sorry.
Okay.
So it's a new experience, and my brain just likes it.
Okay.
For example, another thing that I have trouble perceiving, repeated things. Too much repeated things, monotony is like my mind. Sometimes I have trouble, so this is related,
Yeah.
Like those
Yeah.
experiences.
It's definitely
But I
related.
think that everybody is like helpful.
Yeah.
For the mind.
Yes. Good. Yeah. Open to new experiences is huge. I mean, it is the epitome. We tend to get lost in our comfort zones and lock ourselves in. We talked about you're only seeking out information you already believe in, and we become anti-growth. And yet all of life is about growth. The whole principle of mindfulness is to recognize that life is always in motion, that if something happens, it's never permanent. So you fail at something, you're not a failure now. All these statements and snapshots of permanence, that's mental stuff, that the mind thinks that way. But life is not that way. Tomorrow's a new day, see how you feel then. And then there's no reason to get attached to anything then either, because the day after that is a new day. You have to wake up and have breakfast and so forth, and see how you feel then. There is no other way to live than to become more and more and more present. Everything else is such a disturbance. It's such a distortion. It's just reliving loops, behavioral patterns. And so life will drive you there. There's another talk that's coming up. It's called The 3 Roads Home. When is that?
26, 29?
Yeah.
It's in the slide.
Okay, it'll be at the end of this. That addresses this thing of we can take the long road. It's a very long and painful road. We can take the middle road. It's where most people make decisions from and experience. And then there's the no road. But come to that talk and you'll learn more. All right. We have to keep going here. Go back one. Sorry. All right. So in your journaling, apply the feeling of receiving easily to the area. You really have to tune in here and take that feeling and walk it over to the area where you have trouble receiving. And notice the clash, notice the contrast. Expand from the feeling of gratitude, expansion, receiving, appreciation. feeling desired, feeling helped, feeling supported. And take that energy and expand that into the realm of where you feel resistance and lack and muddiness. Just notice the clash, the conflict. If there's a push and pull, just notice it. The noticing will eradicate the darkness. The noticing is your consciousness. That is your awareness. That is your light. Just notice. Notice the resistance dissolving, fading. Perhaps it's melting away. If it wants to leave you, show it way out. Transmute the darkness, the stuckness into lightness and flow. Bit by bit, part by part. Notice what it feels like to receive with ease. Open yourself up to receive more than you even asked for. There's no shortage of bliss and abundance. Unlimited possibilities are here to serve you. It is your birthright to feel whole and complete. Invite that feeling of expansiveness, of unlimitedness. Every belief is a limiting belief. There's no need to think you have to figure it all out. Just stay open, stay curious, play. Life is your co-creator in the game of abundance. It will support you in all your needs, wants, and desires. Okay. Yawns are a sign of transformation. They really are. Whenever the mind thinks you're pulling power away from it, it's used to being in the driver's seat, and it's noticing, no, I'm not in control anymore. It will throw the kitchen sink at you, make you tired, sleepy, will make you feel pain, will make you think of more important things, will make you believe this is not for you. It's hard to wrestle back control after we've been living the mind-driven life for a few decades. Doesn't happen overnight. All right. Here we get a little more into manifestation territory. I'm a classic push too hard, Mr. Perfectionistic, Mr. Impatient type of guy. And to this day, I will catch myself pushing too hard. I will feel the energy grind to a halt. Movement, momentum grinds to a halt, slows down. And it's because I'm pushing too hard. This amazing co-creative process with the most creative energy force in existence, that is existence, it won't be bullied just because you want to get somewhere sooner. There are energies at play. And so then I have to catch myself and go, okay, take a step back, take a deep breath, and then suddenly it starts to flow again. One of those factors is that I get lost in the too big of the picture and it's too far away. Think of your manifestation power, your ability to hold like a tractor beam of attraction. The farther away and the bigger that situation, that object, whatever you're looking to manifest is, the thinner your beam gets, right? And if it's just too far out and if it's just too big, then you get lost in the overwhelm of it. You get lost in like, I don't know where to start. The practical application, we're still in a physical dimension, cannot support that. So this is where you pull in, again, we talked about simplifying or breaking it down into smaller steps. This is where you bring down your goal, pull it in to where you have a nice, thick tractor beam that's, you see the goal, it's within reach in a way, and you're not overextending yourself. It's also not too small, right? That doesn't feel right either, but somewhere where you see it very clearly. It feels right, it feels good. This is the most important piece. The sense of overwhelm, then you know it's too far and it's too big. You dial it in, bring it back. You want it to get it to a place where it just feels like this is something I can tackle. This is where I can expect to see results in a reasonable manner. It's not one of these 10-year things, 20-year plans that we're often told to create. I mean, you go to any other seminar. I was at a Deepak Chopra seminar the year before last in Miami. And it was all about creating the 1-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year. It wasn't him, it was one of the guest speakers. And that you just get lost in. So this exercise is choose your biggest life goal, something that you're really working towards. Journal how you plan to achieve it, and again, tune into how that makes you feel. Don't make any corrections at the moment, just your current relationship, attitude towards that goal. I want to capture that, how you're currently approaching it, and take note of how that makes you feel. Okay. Finish up your sentence. Okay. My first question was, is anyone here super happy with what they've got going on? Feels light, feels easy, not too little either. Right? That's something too where you just lose the connection to your passion. You can't build enough momentum if you're just too short-sighted. There's the sweet spot, and you can feel that. It's just you collaborating with the energy around you, and everyone else chiming in. It's like an orchestra, and if you don't get all the pieces synced up, playing in the right way, in the right manner, in the right order, then you can't build this type of momentum, and you can't manifest. But it sounds like you've got a great orchestra playing.
Yes. So I host retreats for the last 7 years, and now my goal is more so to be virtual. So I finished a course about 4 months ago, like a virtual retreat. So now it's in the publishing phase of letting go. The heavy part is the fear of judgment and the attachment to the outcome. And then the light part is just how empowering and how the future, and then also publishing like photos from all the travels and my writing, and kind of just fearlessly putting it's already there. So that's like the exciting part, is that it's nothing to create. It's just that overcoming that last hurdle. And through that meditation we did earlier, I really saw how a fear can stop you for years from doing something, and then a 5-minute meditation can reprogram that fear into that abundance perspective.
Yes.
Co-creation of life. So,
Yeah.
it feels empowering and limitless.
Yeah. Fantastic. And that's a great observation. First of all, just having the awareness around all that, that's most of the work. It's the blind behavior that really holds us back and gets us stuck you spend your whole lifetime stuck. And a lot of people do. So the awareness of the fear of showing more of yourself and letting go, and as long as that's there, then you'll find a way, classes, sessions. I took public speaking classes when I realized I have to go out there, promote my books and all that. There's ways to easily do it, and it's part of the experience. And again, you don't have to be perfect from the get-go. This is what can hold you back. And revealing more about yourself. I was being asked on these podcasts and such to tell stories that I didn't even tell my mom, and that she didn't know about me. I was like, oh my gosh. How can I talk about this stuff? And you work on yourself. That's part of the process. You become more contained. And it's just like, this is me. This is my life. This is the authentic me. Say what you might and think what you want, and it just doesn't matter because you're you. Yeah. So fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Over here. Not if you don't want. But sharing is the reason why we share. Is it makes it real, right? When these things just stay with you, there's value to that. There's value to journaling, of course, and all these things. There's speaking with a friend, but sharing, when you announce something, then you're really opening it up to the world and saying, this is something I want to focus on in whatever fashion, to work on, to heal, or to expand from. So, but only if you want. Or maybe you can say it in a way where it's maybe less personal.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. No problem at all. How about you?
I actually struggling a bit with this one
Mhm.
because I think I'm at the point where I feel like my life goals are in contradiction with one another.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's a good revelation. Better to realize that sooner than keep going that way. Yeah.
So my past career has been a lot about social impact, and pretty much built my whole career feeling like I'm doing something good for the society, and changing things up, and doing it for the good of the world. Yeah. So, but I think that I'm at a point where I also feel like it's very soul sucking in a sense, and it's kind of also why I'm here trying to sort of explore a different way of doing things like remote instead of full-time employment. So yeah, I'm not quite sure like what is my life goal at the moment, and I think like even at the personal level is similar. Like there's part of me that feel like I want a stable romantic partner, maybe start a family, but there's part of me that feel like I want to still get all these new experiences. I want to keep traveling and everything. So yeah, I definitely feel like there are kind of like there's these tensions between them.
Yeah, tension, low.
I don't know. I guess what I can do now is really trying to explore ways that I can do it in harmony, finding some kind of balance, and maybe also accepting that maybe I cannot get everything I want, but maybe just part of it, and I'll be okay with it.
Okay, yeah. So again, the most important thing is you're aware of it. So that's already huge. You're not just going to blindly go one path or the other. And as always, the best advice is to try things out. I can't tell you how many times I tell people just lean into it. Just go 1 or 2 steps and see if it resonates. And if not, you don't have to keep going. And this is how most of us, sometimes we get a blink response, right? We just know. But most people, and for the most part, you just, your inner voice can't resonate or not resonate with something if you're just kind of like sitting around on the couch thinking about it. It's energy that's resonating or not resonating. So you can't recreate in advance, predicting the future. I mean, this is essentially what we're doing when we plan things out and when we anticipate, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, my life is going to go this way. You're predicting the future. You're trying to. If I asked you outright, can you predict the future? You'd say, of course not. No one can. But that's how we live. That's how we're conditioned to live. Just make this plan and then chase the outcomes. And then once we reach it, then we'll be happy. That's what you were mentioning. It's like just this outcome orientedness. And it's a bitch. It sneaks up on you. And like you just wind up living for the future again, sacrificing how you feel right now. That's the kind of a base conditioning that we all have. So yeah, the awareness of that is most important. And just really tune into and learn to, we all have intuitive hits. We've always had those. It's a question of will you actually listen and then create more space for that and amplify that so that you can truly use that guidance system and not just, you go down a certain path and then, oh man, I should have listened to that, the voice, I knew it from the beginning, all that stuff. Doesn't really help you much because you've gone down another route. So learning to really listen to things as they come up. You don't have to be, again, expectations. Our inner critic is the loudest. Just our greatest obstacle is ourselves. But when I get a hit to send somebody an email, I try to do it as soon as possible. It's just, I trust the timing, not just the writing, but whenever something comes up, a desire, a nudge to do something, do it then or as close to then when it comes up. And I trust that it came up for a reason. There's energies, connections, energy cords happening far beyond our ability to recognize that. Trust universal timing. And there's people who put off plans for years. Talk about being in misalignment. I know I'm going to work this job till I have X amount of money, and I'm going to like, I really would love to do this now, but I'm going to do it next year or whenever I have time. And talk about being out of sync. These desires are emerging in you for a reason. And you just push them back down, put them off. And then next year or whenever, hope something else will come up. And hopefully you do that then and not push that off again. And this is just the cycle of learning. And you may have to go through who knows how many lifetimes pushing things off till you learn to become more in sync. Okay. Yes.
I'm so sorry, I just have to run. But
Oh, okay.
I want to give like 1 minute of I really think you'll be better than you can predict or imagine. So I really like the advice you gave about just taking small steps and seeing, does this feel right? Does this, and then continuing. And it will be better. You will have both the partner and travel and all of it together. You don't have to do yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. See you around. See you. Run after and see if she wants, because we have that. Okay, never mind. It's a special offer for everyone here. You get a promo for a private session. She's gone. It's okay. She has her own way. Is she still here to give her the complimentary session? Anyway, what I really like about what she said was that it's not either or. Like we start to make up our minds that it's just one thing or another. Let life unfold. You can absolutely have everything, but it's not that you're just supposed to have everything. You'll have exactly what you're cut out to be and what you're able to receive. And so you need to hold space for the possibility of everything. That's the most important thing. And then in that open space, that open canvas, you will attract that which is destined for you. If you just limit yourself, it has to be this way, it's a few slivers of what's possible. And for your true path to be in those few slivers is highly unlikely. So it's hold space for everything is possible, which it is. And it's in that energy field that you will receive the most abundance, the perfect plan, the path of least resistance. And you can have whatever combination you're aligned with there. So yeah. Oh my gosh, these chats are so good. Is anyone needing to leave? You too? Okay. Or you really don't, you just don't want to share. That's okay if you have to go. Make sure to get on the mailing list when you get out. You get the upcoming events where a lot of the stuff we touched on today, you get a deeper dive. And then the one-on-one sessions, which I think everyone can benefit from.
All right.
Okay.
But I enjoyed this.
Okay. All right. Thanks for you.
To be fast one.
Yes, likewise. Yeah, to the next one or somewhere else. Yeah, thanks again for coming again. See ya. Everyone else, we still have a few minutes. You're good? A little? Few? Okay. All right. Let's talk about, so we had a few examples of like, it's perfect. They already got it figured out. And you mentioned like, okay, having to do a bigger overhaul and reframe and realignment. Anyone have a similar experience where like something feels too overwhelming, too big? Yes?
Should I share my goal?
Yeah.
It already feels big.
Yeah.
So what my life goal is to open like a center. I'm working on these centers in New York for a very long time. There are these huge buildings, and it seems to be that you only get offers for like 40,000 square foot, 30,000 square foot buildings. Not one tiny person. So, but anyway, so that's the goal. I know that I feel in every fiber of my being that I want that, and I feel like that's what I really believe in and feel called to. But every time I talk about it, my back hurts, my head starts to hurt.
Mm.
because it feels so overwhelming.
Mm.
And there are parts of it that feel easy and light, which is like just like brainstorm and like look at the new opportunities. But when it comes to like actually
Mm.
opening the doors or committing to it or like having it be done, it's scared.
Mm.
So
Do you see a way of bringing back the parts that feel overwhelming and just dialing it into, something along that way, but that isn't the overwhelming thought? Like bring it into a better feeling thought. What's a better feeling thought?
I don't know. What do you think? Yeah.
Okay. And another way to approach it is the stuckness, the heaviness often comes in when we think of the how. How is this going to happen? And it seems impossible to the mind. But if you can stay away from the how and just experience the feeling of you have that center, you have those 30, 40,000 foot spaces, and you can play in there and you can see yourself playing. And when you do that, what does that feel like?
That feels a lot better.
Mm.
I think what I noticed when I was doing with exercise is that just feeling and knowing that that's going to happen and that we're going to take steps to make it happen felt good. And then as soon as there's this idea of like control,
Mm-hmm.
we're guiding it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yes. Yeah. As soon as we step in and say, this is what happens to a lot of people. They're fabulous manifestors. Like they create a person for a relationship, or they create a job situation, opportunity, or something. And the moment it appears, then they jump back in to try and control it. Like, okay, I'll take it from here. And it doesn't work. You have to stay in that place of openness and see where this goes.
I think the question I had about that was like, is it avoiding responsibility? Because I wrote down guiding it. That felt like a step I had to take, and then I felt that resistance again.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I was controlling it.
Yeah.
But you do presumably have to guide a project at some point, don't you?
Well, you take inspired action, but that's not coming from what you think you have to do. It's when it shows itself, okay, the investor's here and they need a deck of the vision, and now you have to go put that together, maybe even overnight. But that's inspired action. That's not something that you didn't plan that. It's more like that is what you're feeling. The situation demands of you, which is a very different. The thing about responsibility, where does that come from?
Fear.
Fear, okay, yeah.
It's being seen.
Mm-hmm, seen.
Yeah, I think it's being seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These are all, those individual pieces are all big things. And just to remove that from your system, where do you feel, for example, you mentioned shoulders and chest or stomach? Shoulders, head, yeah. So if you spend time with those areas, which one of those is the most intense? Is it your stomach?
I'd say it's probably my back and my
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So for just 30 seconds, put your attention to that area where you feel, is it pressure, or is it, does it feel dense, or does it feel fluffy? What's the texture of this energy?
It's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's dull.
Dull.
It's also sort of sharp.
Also sharp. Is the sharpness emanating from one spot?
The sharpness is coming from the center of the back of the head.
Okay. Right. If you move into that spot where it's emanating from, how close can you get? Is there a reaction if you get too close?
Then the fear moves into my stomach.
Okay. So
It
there's,
feels like it's dissipating a bit.
Yeah.
I go to the center of it.
okay. So just stay at that safe distance. You never have to get into a place of overwhelm, just at that distance where you feel it dissolving a little bit. And just stay there for 20 seconds and observe. Just observe. Notice any motion, any movement, maybe a change in color, change in texture. Is there a change in intensity?
The head is gone mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happened in my stomach is it turned into joy
Mm-hmm.
and giddiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a great
perfect. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. This was just a deep energetic release in 20 seconds. And this is something that could be blocking you all life long. And again, it's just the light of awareness. It's healing. If you spend more time than if we could do a complimentary session with you, and then we just go really deep into all those areas and just release it all. And you just will not be held back by that any longer. So yeah, and it's replaced not just with no pain, but with joy, with light, with lightness, with optimism, and the shift in energy. I mean, you're smiling now. You're in pain a moment ago. Yeah.
I was crying too.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. Good. Awesome. All right. Anyone else an area where they feel overwhelmed by their plan for life, that they feel held back?
I feel like I have been feeling overwhelmed and like things didn't know how to bring them in. And then writing like, and the fears and things, it's like we're just not knowing how to do like legal, structural stuff, set up companies, set up businesses, all of these things that need structure and form. But when I was writing, I feel like the shift it's not all just me that's going to do it. Like the 5 temples that I see all over the world.
Yeah.
It's not just me, it's going to be
Yeah.
a team,
Yeah.
a crew, and a collaboration, and like just saying that these people are all around me, and we're just going to build it together. Okay, everyone has their expertise, and it's like I feel like I've just been trying to take away that I have to do everything because I don't. I'm learning how to delegate and get other people to have the super skills. So that was hard for me to see. It was like, oh, the delegation, how do we get from this bit to that bit? And it's kind of like just letting go of that. It's almost like hanging through a thread that's there. It's like, it's not all me, and everyone has their part to do.
Yeah.
So it feels easier.
Yes, that feels a lot easier. At the moment, before you even started talking, I got this download of team, and that you don't have to do these things. And just the thought of having to do it yourself, you just hand that off. And by the way, you can do this with your guides, your angels, with your higher power. You just hand that off. It doesn't even have to be one higher power. It could be an army of helpers, an army of higher power.
There's an army there. We need an army on physical now.
Yes, yeah, yes. Exactly. Very good. Cool. It's just about moving things around, getting them in alignment. They want to be, life wants to be of service. It wants us to bloom, to blossom, to flow. We're doing life a disservice by staying in resistance and antagonism to it. So we just have to play along. These are the rules, and we get rewarded instantly. And if we try to control and steer and stay in resistance, we kind of get punished instantly. We don't feel good. So it's like an instant feedback mechanism. Move the chessboard, move the pieces around to where it feels right. That is the frequency that you're looking for. And then the flow starts to take shape. It should always feel easy. The moment it feels hard, you know you're swimming upstream. Okay. Yeah.
Sure, I know that I have to go and
Yes.
Well, I think it's a quite common goal. Mine is like to have a family. And now it's harder, I think, than before. Because the mindset of the people has changed a little bit. And it is a nice goal, but also provide for the family, be enough successful in life to provide well for the family, and also big picture to be as successful, to have time for my hobbies, for my friends, and I'm part of the family. That is a really hard goal. But there are two things, right? You have to be successful in work, you have to spend a lot of time in work. No, normally happens, maybe not, but the most time I spend in work, the most normally successful I will be, but the less you will engage with your partner, for example. You will lose time finding other parts that are important. So this is a small balance that you have to take care of, reach the open. Just try to take small steps to that goal. But it's no reason.
So those last couple of words there's no reason. You can make that a mantra because there's no reason you can't have anything that you just described. If anything, just those were all reasons that you're putting in the way, obstacles you're putting in the way of it happening because you're believing the limitations of that. All of those are types of how do I get there? And in a way, they're just self-limiting thoughts. From this vantage point, you could be in a cave in the Himalayas and the person that you're meant to have that family with and the abundance that is meant to come to you in order to have that house and have that life, it will find you. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. It doesn't matter what century you're born in, what state of the economy is. I had the best life, my best financial years were those, the stock market crashes and dot-com bust and all of those. You can't know your life. Just, a lot of it is just predicting, again, trying to control and think that life happens this way or that way. Our mind cannot imagine your greatest life. We get so upset that life is constantly getting in the way of this great life that we imagine. We cannot imagine how great our life can be. So the less we start to control and steer, and the more we start to allow and receive, we talked about that as well, you just start, there's these portals that start to open up to you. Oh my God, there's a possibility here and a possibility there and a possibility here. Like you start seeing possibilities as opposed to restrictions or limitations, or if I work this way, then I don't have enough time. This is all. You go through, you have to just respond to every day what feels better, right? That's the thought, the better feeling thought that you want to pursue, that you want to make decisions on. If your job doesn't feel good, you're not being fulfilled, you also have to be strong yourself. You need a foundation for yourself. You can't help others if you don't know how to help yourself. You can't free others unless you free yourself first. You can't heal others unless you heal yourself first. So you need to have a strong, the overflowing cup. Right? Your cup needs to be full, and from there you can give, from there you can create. If you're in a state of lack, then all of that flow shuts down and you're just kind of small. So you have to stay in for yourself, first and foremost, in this state of abundance, and this flow. And just watch it unfold. I mean, it's really I planned nothing of this. You could probably look back on your lives right now.
Reactivity.
Yeah. Yes, your activity. Look back on your lives right now. Could you have predicted how you wound up at this station? And why do you imagine then that you can continue predicting it when nothing has happened the way you predicted it?
Yeah, that's true, but it seems, it seems that marking small steps to the goal, seems a better decision. Maybe not, I guess it's not.
Yeah.
It's better to just flow out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's nice, I will try it, but
yes.
remove some.
Try it a little bit, remove some of the, yes.
Remove some.
Yeah. Just already when you walk out the door here, there's a change, there's a shift in all of that. And you'll already start seeing the difference in interactions or things that go your way, and awareness, greater awareness, hearing other people's stories. So yeah, and you showed up here. You made you could have gone out doing whatever. Yeah.
I feel like she's at 5, but I had some work.
There you go. Good. Good. Okay.
Now I have a call at work.
Yes. Okay. Make sure to get his contact. Okay. All right. Well, Dimas, can you control the laptop? We'll just go through the last few slides. Anyone else want to share? I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're good? No need
I
to?
think I learned much with this.
Okay, you got your answer. That's perfect. Yeah. And you're still good? You got what you wanted? Okay, good. All right, good. All right, so then, we visualized out loud, okay? Reminders, the more advanced you get in all of this, it's just about reminders. You've probably heard everything that I said somewhere before, but it's just setting reminders, the top 3 things that you think you learn, takeaways from today. Put those on Post-its, put those on your mirror, put those in your journal somewhere, circle it or something. It's just, after a certain point, it's just about reminders.
Corrective experience.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So we so often get stuck on this idea of failure, or we just even blindly just kind of repeat patterns. Essentially, most of the things we create from lack. So we don't feel like we're good enough, that we have enough, that we're worthy. I mean, these are core issues. Almost everyone has that. That's just being born is traumatizing. A corrective experience is moving into everyone here shared in some way where they went from the hard energy, heavy energy, the resisting energy into the flowing energy. That's the correction. That's the course correction right there. Moving into what feels good, what feels easy, what feels light, what feels fun. I always emphasize, it's not just making it easy, just make it fun. Like, you totally can. You don't have to stop at easy. We're here, this is a playground. There's all these elements, right? Forget about toys that you played with in the past or toys that you think will exist in the future. Play with what's in front of you. There's so much. It's endless. Shapes and sizes and colors and people and energies and creatures and ideas, inspirations, possibilities. It's all now. That's all the present stuff. And that's the fuel. Someone asked me this morning, I did a private session at 8 o'clock this morning, and they asked me, how am I going to, because I have this full day, and how am I going to stay awake by the time I get to talk tonight? I was like, the situation fuels me. This is new stuff. None of this is like rehearsed on you. I think you can tell that I didn't like sit at home and go through bullets. I'm going to say this or that. It's just flow, and in that flow, there's an endless resource of energy and inspiration and ideas and the next thing. If I were just to stand here, no one of you said anything, I would grind down pretty quickly. But this exchange, there's a spark jumping around, people learning from each other, positive things, challenges, and we're all like just collaborating in something. And this was our little orchestra tonight. And anything can happen. So that's what corrective experience is, moving into flow state. Okay, we did that. Okay, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. Nobel Prize winner. Okay, my favorite quotes.